Hello and welcome to PlayStation Racer. My name is Mitchell Morgan and today we're going to be heading over to Trial Mountain for another of the World Circuit Race Challenges. This is going to be the World Touring Car 900. Before we do that, I'm just going to drop into the options and the race difficulty to make sure that we've got that set to the hard setting, the setting that I'm trying to use for most of these races now. There are a few that I'm struggling with and I do drop into normal, but trying to run them on hard as much as I can. We've got the Red Bull X 2019 to do on this track, but today we're going to be tackling the World Touring Car. And I'm going to do that in the Peugeot L750R Hybrid VGT. I'm doing that on medium tyres with the suspension and the differential pretty much set to standard. I've got the output adjustment set to 100, the ballast of 0 and the power restrictor of 100. I've got the transmission set to 350 and nitrous is fitted on this car and that is set to 30. Otherwise, everything is pretty much standard on this particular car and it's very quick around here. We've just got to manage the fuel a little bit in this particular race. So let's get into the World Touring Car 900 at the Trial Mountain Circuit, 10 laps in which we need to hit the front. So I'm going to put the fuel map over to 5 for this particular one. I've got my traction control off and I've got my brake balance in the middle. I'm just going to leave the fuel map on for the moment, getting up the inside of these two cars into the first couple of corners. Just getting it slowed down before we get through this tunnel. On the power as soon as we come out. I haven't done a lot of miles in this car, so I'm just going to go and do a few laps just to get this thing settled down, and then I'll talk through my lap a little bit. But I'm hoping my brake and turning points are going to be pretty much what they normally are for this particular race. I'm not really expecting anything special. Going up the inside of that Honda, we should be able to get the NSX done. Sorry, it's not an NSX, it's a GTR. On the inside there, looking for the beginning of the curve to slow down for this corner, just dropping down to second gear. Sometimes with this car I tend to run it with a higher gear for some of these corners. For this particular track I found that using first and second gear for some of these corners actually worked really well, not only to get the car slowed down but to also get it turned in, to get rotation into the corners and then up through the gearbox as soon as possible as you come off of the corners, and that seemed to work really well. You can see there down into first gear for that, then up into second to get through this corner, and then I'm going to jump up into third as quick as we can coming down this main straight, overtaking the Mercedes on the right hand side. We've got the sun in our faces for this one. It is late in the day, so you need to pick out your brake reference points very cleanly. Really quick through there, overtaking the Toyota. How I found that car, I'm not quite sure. Managing to overtake the Mercedes and the McLaren, BMW McLaren F1 on the way through there as well. So making some good progress now. We're up into 12th already, but we are still 29 seconds away from the leader. 10 laps to do, and we've got a fuel map of 5 and laps remaining of 8.6, so we're looking pretty good on this fuel map at the moment, so I'm going to stick with that. Fuel map 6 was obviously absolutely brilliant for this one, but the faster that we can go the better. I'm also doing a little bit of early upshifting just to add to the fuel savings at the moment, so upshifting around about halfway when I remember, when I can. For some of the gear changes I'm even changing up a little bit earlier than that. Only using the nitrous very briefly at the moment to overtake cars. We've obviously got that battery power that is regenerating under braking, so we've got both benefits for this particular race. And you'll notice as you go through the video, the nitrous will go red when I'm using it, so you will be able to see when it's being used. Quite clearly. It's a bit difficult to see when it isn't red, but you saw there just a little bit of red just to push the power, just to try and get up to car in front, Serrano. Going to do that car on the inside. I've got two there together. Caught the barrier on the way through there, because you really shouldn't be able to overtake two cars into that corner, but we did manage to somehow get that done. That was quite a nice move through there. Probably clean race bonus gone, but again, with these challenges, especially on hard, I'm really not worrying about clean race bonuses. If you want to maximise your credits and get a clean race bonus on these races, swallow your pride, just go easy, and it's so easy to get these done right the way through to first place on the easy setting and pick up a clean race bonus. Many of my audience want to be able to do this on hard just for the kudos of doing it on hard, and that's why we are choosing that setting. Plus it does give it an extra bit of a challenge, which is quite nice. So we're up into 7th place midway through lap 3. Nice little technical section here to come over the top. You need to be very minded of your braking point. I'm in a bit of clear air for the moment, and the field is very much spread out, but you'll notice that the leader is still nearly 18 seconds down the road. So I'm hoping that a lot of these cars are going to pit. So this is going to be a strategy race where I'm going to try and go to the end, and we're still good just about on fuel at the moment. I want to go all the way to the end without pitting, and you'll notice there as we're going down this straight, still catching these cars in front using nitrous, but I am short shifting as well at the same time to try and save the fuel. We'll get around this lap, and then I've got a couple of very quick cars to catch up on, so I think we're going to be in some free air for a lap or two. During that time I'll take the opportunity just to talk through the lap. You'll also notice that I've settled down a little bit now. I've got a feel for this car around this track, and it's just a little bit more controlled than it was initially. Looks like we're just catching up with the car in front. Going to overtake that one through the tunnel. That one was the NSX. We've now got a nice run down the long straight, and then we've got a nice clean bit of air to the cars in front. I say nice clean bit of air because I don't really want to have that big a gap to make up, but for the purposes of the video, just gone a little bit wide through there. For the purposes of the video, this does give me the opportunity to put in what I would refer to as qualifying laps, and I can talk you through this in just a moment. Just after I get through these last few laps, I'm trying to push on and just got into the grass there a little bit. So that is my first mistake. The tyres are looking good at the moment, so that is a driver error. Nothing to do with the tyres or anything else. Tyre wear is really good on these medium tyres. So you want to try and get a good exit out that corner if you can, on the power as soon as possible, so that you can carry as much speed as you can down this long straight. I'm not actually using the nitrous at the moment, just running because obviously I want to talk through this lap. Just braking at the beginning of the yellow part of the Arncove barrier on the right hand side in that first corner, and then just monitoring over the curves. This is so fast I can't actually keep up while I'm trying to run this and talk at the same time. This one, I'm looking for the bollards just before that sign on the left hand side, then pick up the apex, let it drift out to the left hand side. For this one, I'm braking pretty much as you hit the apex of the left, staying over to the right. And as you go through the tunnel here, you really want to get as far over to the right as possible to open up this corner, and then get as far over to the left. So I was a little bit too in the middle of the track for my liking for that one. But if you do take the extremes, just be very careful. It's very easy to catch the edges of the track, and that will slow you down. For this one, I'm braking at the beginning of the curve on the right hand side, all the way down to second gear for rotation. I'm going to come up into third as soon as possible. Again, just upshifting early. As you go over the top here, brake as soon as you get to the rise of that corner, hard on the brakes, down to second gear, try and pick up the apex. Going to grab third very quickly and all the way down at the first as we've got behind this third place car. So that was to get it slowed down and rotated. And then I'm going to brake halfway down this curb on the right hand side there towards the sort of yellowy orange part of the wall, and then bury the brake pedal, get the gears down, get it rotated, and you want to try and get as much speed as you can down here. So again, looking for the barrier on the right hand side, that yellow car, hit the brakes, try and get over that curb, over this curb, absolutely taking as much as you can without unsettling the car. Fourth gear through there, just to get it slowed down a little bit, otherwise you're going to wind up in the grass. Second gear through here for rotation, and now we're looking for those bollards, not bollards, the boulders on the left hand side before the sign. I apologise if I said bollards before, I did mean boulders. On the apex of that one, just slow it down. As you come through this bridge, again, just braking as you enter the bridge, bring it over to the left-hand side, trying to stay as far left as you can, and then you can drift out to the right-hand side as you go through the tunnel. I'm using nitrous now quite aggressively because I'm trying to catch up with Kawakami in front, and I need every little bit of assistance I can. Braking at the beginning of the curve on the right-hand side there, down into second gear for rotation, get across these hatchings. You can hug that curb as much as you can on the inside there. Apex that one over the top and hit the brakes, down into first gear for rotation here, just to get that car rotated on the apex. Again, second and then first for this one, just getting slowed down behind Kawakami, who gets it a little bit sideways, but I think he's actually pitting. Yes, he's dived into the pits. So this strategy has definitely worked. We're on lap 6 out of 10 and we're out front at the moment. You can see there I've got a little bit eager on the accelerator with the low gear. Now that we're out in front, we can actually use some higher gears now and just settle down a bit, especially now that our tyres are starting to wear just a little bit. So again, just looking for the beginning of the orange barrier on the left hand side there. I'm just losing my words whilst I'm trying to negotiate these corners at the moment. The boulders on the left hand side through there, picking up these apexes, you can see the gears. On the apex of this one, just bearing the brake pedal again down into second gear. Try and stay over to the right hand side, sweep across to the left, cutting this as much as you can. You can cut that corner, get a lot further over to the left, which will open the corner up and give you more speed and drive down this long straight. As always, please pause and rewind the video if you want to look at my braking points and gears, etc. in a little bit more detail. This car is very quick and it's quite difficult to keep the commentary going in time with what I'm doing, especially when I'm trying very hard not to spin this car. As we go through here, I'm looking for the rise over the top, bury the brake pedal down in a second, just getting it rotated around on the curb, drifting out to the left, across to the right now, just at the bottom of that dip, just as you're going down the hill, so not actually in the dip, but just before. Come on, get it back on the track. Now, just before the dip is where I tend to start braking and then turn in. For this one, again, the beginning of the little orange barrier on the left hand side, occasionally just slightly before, trying to carry as much speed through the corner there. I do like to cut that corner a bit, however sometimes I tend to find in some cars it unsettles the car, so sometimes I get out of the habit of doing that. So we're on lap 8 of 10 at the moment, again taking loads of curb through there, getting it slowed down at fourth gear for this one. You can cut that curb too. Third gear down into second for rotation through here, just picking up the curb on the inside momentarily, looking for the boulder on the left hand side. Apex this one, I've missed the apex which would put me a little bit wide, so I've gone second gear just to take some of that speed off, leaving it in second just to compose myself a little bit through here. Again, I took the middle of the track through there, but because I was so much slower, I did manage to get the car further over to the left, which is really where you want to be for that one, but that was more a consequence of me being a little bit slow into that corner. We're 17 seconds ahead of the leaders at the moment, so at this point no real point to keep on pushing as hard as I am, if I am perfectly honest. The fuel is now pushed out to full lean, by the way. I should have mentioned that switch a bit earlier on when I was a bit busy. So just rewind the video to go back to where I did that. I think it was just after the leader pitted, but I've gone full lean just to make sure that that fuel is going to last the full distance. We are on lap 8, so we've got lap 9 and lap 10, 2 laps to go. after this one is completed, and we've got 2.3 laps of fuel remaining. So it looks like the fuel management worked really well. That fuel map 5 for the majority of the race to get us up to the leader seemed to be fine, and then we've gone fuel map 6 as we've got a back marker coming out of the pits. That's another overtake to be done. Almost caught him on the way through there. I wasn't quite expecting a back marker at this stage. I was not expecting to be lapping anybody in this race, if I'm perfectly honest. He's actually still right tight behind me, I think, so just keeping an eye on the map on the top right. I want to change to the radar, but for the moment just want to make sure that we keep this in the right direction and that we don't spin it. The tyres are looking okay at the moment. We're about a third worn on the right hand side. The right hand side does wear quicker, so I'm just being a little bit careful with the tyres right now. Looking at the map, that car is a little bit further behind, so I'm going to leave the fuel map on for the moment just so I can keep an eye on the fuel. 1.7 laps of fuel left at the moment, just still doing some fuel saving. Just under 14 seconds ahead of the leader at the moment, I think. Had a very quick look there. We're down to 12 now, so the leader on those fresh tyres is definitely closing pretty quickly now, but him to close sort of 13 seconds between now or just over the last lap is going to be a bit difficult. You'll see that I was running on, just have a little look, running on 143s. 140 is our best time. We're now back out to 144s, 145s. That is a mixture of fuel saving, the power mixture being moved out to lean, and also just being a little bit more careful through some of these corners. You'll see that I think I'm a little bit more smooth now that I've backed off ever so slightly than I was earlier on when I was trying to fight my way through the traffic. And at this point, I was just about to say that I'm going to a little bit of a rhythm now, and then immediately as soon as I say that, I go and put it into the barrier. That was a bit of a pain. That's quite nice through there. That's better. A little bit tighter on the left-hand side as we went through there. That felt really, really good. So fuel remaining 1. This is a good opportunity going down this straight to just check where we are. Tyres, fuel, cars around us, that sort of thing. Although I am trying to get into the habit of checking the radar and the maps and the mirrors if you've got the mirror available to you. I'm trying to get in the habit of looking through every corner to see where all the other cars are, whether I'm being chased, whether I'm being caught, whether I'm being overtaken, whether I'm pulling away. That information is all important. 0.7 laps of fuel left to come down into the final corner for the final time. Down at the first gear, up into second. Just leave it in second for the rotation, and then a nice easy run to the line. And that, my friends, is how I managed to get gold in this race, this World Touring Car race, in this brilliant Peugeot VGT. It is a monster of a car. It is great for around here. So that's the World Touring Car 900 Trial Mountain Circuit done on the hard settings. It won't be a clean race. 160,000 credits. Given how far ahead we were, you could probably hang back and get a clean race with that one if you really wanted to. But for me, with these videos, it's more just a case of getting through the traffic, getting the job done, getting the gold trophy, and moving on to the next one. Again, this was done on the hard settings. I am doing some of the X 2019 races at the moment, which are really hard. One or two of those, one of them I've settled for second place at the moment, and I'm going to go back and do that one on normal. One of them I've done on the hard settings, and it may well be just for time purposes, rather than sitting there for 2 or 3 hours trying to do it on hard. I may well just drop back to normal for those and just show you how I do those on normal. And then at some point when I've got the time, I may well just do them on the hard setting just for my own peace of mind. So If you're new around here, please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. If you're back for more, again, please hit the like button, but thank you ever so much for continuing to support me, and hit that bell button for notifications of when those additional videos come out. I'm also in the process of revisiting some of the old World Circuit races following the 1.4 update, because a few people have been asking for updates following physics changes and changes to the PP on the cars, etc. So I'm going to have a few of those revisit videos coming over the next few weeks. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching. I'll see you again very soon. For now, take care. Bye bye.